Just need to double check to see if we're actually streaming. We are live.
Nice. Did I tell you about the time I got kicked in the nuts at work? Did I not?
I think so. No,
Okay,
yeah,
lady
yeah,
kicked
you
me
did.
right
Yeah.
in the nuts.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I remember.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I know I told you about it.
Yeah, a couple
No,
times.
yeah, I remember you told me. Bradley was there too. Anyway, welcome back to Samurai Reviews Live. I'm Kazu, and today we're diving deep into the state of superhero cinema. Marvel Studios is heading into Phase 6, and DCU is rebooting with Superman. And the question is, who's building the better future for comic book movies? But I'm not doing it alone. It's National Friends Day, so it's only right to bring in two of my closest friends who's been with me on this movie journey for years. We have Leray and Michael. These two aren't just great friends. They're big voices when it comes to film conversations. We've argued, debated, and geeked out over Marvel and DC more times than I can count. So it's perfect to have them here to break everything down, where Marvel stands, what DC is doing right, and what's next for superhero cinema. So let's get into it, and of course, we want to hear from you live in the chat as we go along. But yeah, there we go. Question number 1. How might Marvel's new focus on quality over quantity reshape the way audiences are going to experience the MCU going forward?
Well, I would start by saying I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay.
I think that would be preferable. I think my biggest fear about that, though, is that they're going to push some characters to the side in favor of just renewing some like old favorites
Okay.
and leaning on that nostalgia.
What kind of characters do you think they're going to push to the side?
I think a lot of the characters that didn't have as successful of runs with like the Disney Plus series, like I'm worried about Ironheart not getting your time in the sun, because like I watched the Ironheart series, me and like I guess 10 other people, and it was so good. Like I really enjoyed it, and I fear that they're gonna push her aside to do the like recasting of Iron Man or whatever. There's still characters that I'd like to see like a Luke Cage or something that still hasn't really gotten that treatment that I would like to see. I would love to see a Heroes for Hire with him and Iron Fist or something like that. And I think I want them to do more quality as opposed to quantity, but I just fear that they're going to do they're going to focus on the wrong heroes instead of expanding the universe in a fun and meaningful way.
So still kind of just focused on like the IP of what would bring in cash, like money.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, the decision's going to be around greed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why we haven't seen a second season of Moon Knight. Why we haven't
Which is also good.
seen Shang-Chi.
That's
like
true.
all he was just in his movie. I don't think he's made an appearance except for.
They even had a pretty big like end credit scene.
Yeah.
Where they're setting stuff up.
I guess the other thing he was in like What If season 3.
Oh yeah.
But that's kind of like its own little separate animated anthology series.
Yeah.
It was pretty good in that one. Yeah, I know they're building up for Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll eventually see him, but yeah, I do feel like in the end it's always just going to be like the numbers.
Yeah.
And
What's gonna
that's-
sell?
That's will definitely hinder from like an actual good story and a storyline and experience in the MCU going forward. For sure. What challenges and opportunities come with scaling back production after such a high output era that Marvel had?
With their like their Disney Plus shows. Is that
Yeah,
what you're
so
asking?
them kind of scaling back to focus on like quality over quantity. Like, what do you think some challenges and opportunities?
I think like the one that I said prior is just I'm concerned that they're gonna focus on the wrong things, and kind of revert back to what was working before this current kind of, I guess, technically disaster of a phase.
Yeah, once you started adding a lot more characters, sort of trying to go back to basics, trying to go back to how it was like in those first 5 years with like Iron Man and Captain America, Thor, like the big like heavy hitter characters, the ones that are gonna sell, they're gonna bring people to the theaters.
And then they'll just kind of, I fear they might just end up telling the same stories over and over again that they had prior. And there's just so many stories you could tell. Like I do think one of the good recasting things that they're potentially doing is the T'Challa. Like I've been asking for that like forever, since before Wakanda Forever. Yeah, and because I think the character is too big to just move on from. Yeah. As great as Chadwick was for that character, hot take, I guess, but I think the character's bigger. Like I think there's more to the character to be explored, and the fact that we just like we're like, well, we can't recast him is just kind of like simplistic thinking. Like I think even Chadwick would be like, no, let the character live on. Like, keep telling this dude's stories, because like there are so many good Black Panther stories.
Yeah, especially because like the character existed before Chadwick was even born. Like, as much as I love Chadwick,
66 or 63 or something.
I love Chadwick, but I definitely want to see more Black Panther stories eventually. I don't want to never get to see T'Challa again because Chadwick, unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, there's tons of stories with him and Shuri, where Shuri kind of takes over the head mantle of like Wakanda, and he's kind of like this outsider Panther, like liaison type deal. Then there's a lot of really interesting dynamics there between the two of them, and how the different ways that they ruled and what their responsibility is to the nation at that time. So yeah, there's a really good comic by Ta-Nehisi Coates, A Nation Under Your Feet? Something Feet. But that's like one of my favorite Black Panther comics, and I think it really addresses those kind of stories really well, and that's where I was hoping they were going to go with it, and then when they didn't recast Black Panther, it's like, oh, we'll never get something like that.
You think that they can incorporate that kind of story now with like the whole Wakanda Forever?
Yeah, I mean, it depends.
Is going.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on how they merge the worlds in Secret Wars, which is what they're kind of implying they'll do.
Yeah.
Which I do kind of hope they'll do.
It's not going to mesh like the different multiverses.
Yeah, but there's also a way that I fear they'll do. You know?
Oh,
like what's that? What's the fear?
I mean, it could, if it's done right, and there's enough like context to why the worlds kind of mesh together, and they'd have to give a really good like explanation as to why everyone remembers the actions of the past, but why everyone else doesn't. Because I do want the world to not know that there's been a collide. You know?
Oh, okay.
Because I want...
So, like a hard reset.
That's what I would want, because I want the history of mutants to be in the world before we get the mutants. Like, before we get X-Men.
Yeah, like...
To do X-Men without, like, a history of, like, mutant oppression won't hit the same way. Like, that's really important to me. And so that's something that you would have to... And they're supposed to come after Secret Wars. So that's something you would have to have, like... The way that like Superman did with like 3 million years ago, metahumans appeared or whatever.
Yeah, 300
like
years
I want
ago.
that level of like historical context to superhumans in the Marvel universe, which they obviously haven't set up, because the way the MCU is now, it's kind of like Iron Man showed up, or like I guess Captain America back in the 40s or whatever. But like that's pretty much the only like history they've set up as far as superhumans in this world. And then I think if we count like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Inhumans came like after Iron Man and stuff like that, which technically makes sense, but you know.
Oh, yeah, after Iron Man? Wait, no, like the Inhumans were in the universe.
They had like the ones that were like Black Bolt and like Medusa and stuff, right?
Oh,
but like the like Quake.
Yeah, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like one of their characters was like a really old like character. She was like been around for like 200 something years. Like, she just didn't age. She was,
but
like,
then
this...
they also reverted it so that that's not like canon anymore.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I assume the Inhumans are more than just like 50 years old. Or...
Oh no, they are, but like in the history of like the known history of that universe.
Oh, are you saying
like no one talks about it
because like they just like set them up as a replacement for the X-Men?
Yeah,
yeah.
Even,
like just like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, because they lost it to Sony
stuff.
Or was it Fox? It was Fox.
Yeah, Fox took the X-Men.
But then they bought over Fox.
Yeah, but in the middle of that, they made Inhumans to replace the loss of X-Men.
Yeah, they're kind of just a lower quality.
But I more mean like just because the way that Inhumans were presented was that like humanity doesn't really know anything about them, and so there was no like Inhumans.
Oh,
there's no like prejudice towards them built up into this like societal structures, which makes the story interesting.
Yeah. I see what you're talking about, because I know the Inhumans were like created by like the Kree, like the kind of like experimenting on people or something. Yeah. The
Terrigen.
Yeah, that's
something.
Something
Terra,
with a T,
and then like Jen is in there, and there might be some more letters in the middle.
But they definitely were sort of like a hidden society. When they did like get transformed into their Inhumans thing.
And that's like the closest thing we have to X-Men. But like as far as mutants go, no one's talked about the X-Gene. They talked about adamantium in the Brave New World movie.
Yeah, and there was that little thing at the end of Miss Marvel when her friend says like he's talking to her, and then he goes, "Oh, I found like some weird anomaly with your genes. It's a mutagen." And then they play like the X-Men.
I didn't get to the end of that one.
So. Oh, you didn't?
No,
it's pretty good. Okay. It's for awesome. But yeah, he calls her like say like, "Oh, you have this mutant gene," and then they play that like in the background.
And then they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, no, not yet. I mean,
sons of bitches.
she appeared in the Marvels, and they kind of did really
did
talk
like the
about. Well, I guess there was that the Beast showing up at the end of the.
Oh yeah, they had, but that was like Sony's X. That was another multiversal, like in another world they had X-Men.
Well, remember it was Monica Rambeau. She gets woken up by Beast.
Yeah, but it was in like not in the MCU universe.
Yeah, she went to the Fox like X-Men.
Which is like that's what I want though. I want like a setup. I don't want the Fox universe specifically.
Yeah.
By the way, but like I want like a setup history of mutant oppression. Because that like makes the story that's a core element of this mutant story is like them facing prejudice in a lot of like societally relatable ways, and that kind of history is needed for a character like Magneto, who comes in and says like we can't continue to let this happen because it continues to happen.
Yeah.
So if it hasn't continued to happen, what's Magneto going to be like? Like, this just happened and I'm not okay with it. There's no precedent to me reacting this way.
Yeah, there needs to be that. Like, if this get put into a universe where it's like, oh, here are the mutants now, but they didn't have that history. Though they remember their history from that planet, so it's kind of just like, oh.
Which, like, wasn't good.
Yeah.
Wasn't good.
Yeah, they had some good moments.
The opportunity of bringing in the X-Men would be great.
Yeah.
But I would have to have, like, a good setup and, like, good kind of background and fillers.
I would need them to have something where like it brings all these universes into a nexus point where they've all existed together, but I also don't want characters to forget the sacrifices of the other characters we've learned and like met along the way. Like if they melded the universe and they remade the universe where everyone remembers it being a different way, it would suck for them to forget like Tony Stark's sacrifice.
Yeah,
because that meant a lot to like Peter's character in the MCU.
Yeah.
So to lose that sucks too. Yeah. I think you can do it where you can have both, but I just think there's a very thin line they have to straddle, and they kind of set themselves up to have to make like a couple difficult decisions, and I don't really at this point trust them to make the right ones.
Yeah. It's kind of like how, like in the comics, how they brought over Miles Morales to the main 616, and it's like, oh, he remembers his history from that, but no one else does. So he has his parents back, he has like all of his stuff back, but then like he also has this whole other universe that's dead still, but now it's not dead because it's
and that's like a difficult because you don't want to give up either side of that, but then it also leaves that weird middle gray area where it's like
you kind of have to get over this little goofy aspect of the story and kind of like, well, this is how we're going to explain that they're here and you have to deal with it. Like,
and I think they set themselves up for a little bit of failure there with starting the multiverse saga without like a proper plan.
Yeah. Okay. So that's like was the challenge is that they screwed themselves over
Yeah.
kind of in the beginning a little bit.
And not buying back the rights to X-Men earlier.
That's true, yeah. Okay.
They don't have the money, though. Disney's poor.
At
Yeah.
this point,
They can't afford
with
it.
all their fails. So, going into getting that whole thing started, right? That's with like the Phase 6 part of like reaching to Doomsday and then to Secret Wars at some point. In what ways could Fantastic Four in the 1960s, like alternate universe, impact its like reputation and place with the larger MCU? You think? Or did it not have like any effect or anything?
In terms of like, I guess the potential meshing of universes, I would love for them to lean more towards the Fantastic Four's version of it, where it's a little more fantastical. That's been one of my complaints, and I think one of yours as well, over like superheroes since Dark Knight, essentially.
Yeah,
is that
they're
they
that
go
grounded.
way too grounded with them, and it's like that's great for like, and I think this is part what they're going for. Even it just doesn't help me. That's great for like casual viewers of superhero things, but when you're like a comic fan, or when you have like a long history of like enjoying things from this universe, like comically from this universe, that sucks, because I like the comic flamboyance.
Yeah, like
that
the
there
more
is.
goofy
Yeah.
aspects of it.
Like they have grounded stories in there, but the goofy
Yeah.
stuff is what makes it fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, because I like the Batman 2022. Like it was a very grounded Batman, but I also would like to like have a Batman that could go and gets like Batmite, you know, at some point.
Yeah, no, like there are places for both of these things to happen.
Yeah.
But it feels like they lean towards the realism, more grounded versions of these heroes. And I don't know, for me, and this is something that will be different for everybody. For me, that's something I don't enjoy. Like, I know a lot of people like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I do too. But he's probably my least favorite Spider-Man. He's not what Spider-Man is to me. And if that was your first experience with Spider-Man, that's totally cool if he's yours. For me, it was like the 90s animated Spider-Man. That was my first Spider-Man. So that's what I always revert to in terms of how I think about Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I watched reruns of the 60s. That was my first thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got experiments with that.
I did watch Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends with Iceman and Firestar.
Oh, yeah.
I watched
I
that
used to
one.
watch that one,
Yeah.
too. That one was fun.
But like those are like my. It depends. It's going to be different for everyone because everyone has a different first experience. A lot of people's first experience with Batman was those Dark Knight movies, so they kind of enjoyed that version of Batman more. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just from a, I guess, comic perspective. I think a lot of the comic fans feel like they want more. Like,
yeah, they want to be able to
seeing.
see those fantastical elements of these worlds. And
that's why Superman was
ground.
well received.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because they kind of embraced the comic book nature of the Superman, of the DC universe.
It was extra. It was the whole movie was so extra, but like in the best way. And that's what I want to see from like the Fantastic Four specifically, though, is like I want that extraness that they brought to that movie.
I mean, I heard from interviews that they are trying to get the Avengers to come into the Fantastic Four universe for help from like the Reed Richard that's there.
I think a way they could do it that I would be okay with is if the Fantastic Four is the nexus point of whatever merge is going to happen. I would rather people not know anything about the Avengers than any of the other stuff they haven't been able to do yet. Because Fantastic Four left it relatively open where we could have like, oh yeah, there is mutant prejudice in this world. Like they left it open enough where that could have happened. They just didn't touch on it in that movie, and that would have made sense.
Yeah, they're just focused more on just the Fantastic Four and that family and that.
And there could be other heroes. Daredevil could still be around in that universe. Like because it's so fresh and so new, and standards haven't been established yet. It leaves a lot more room for like them to just be like, oh yeah, this has been happening. And so if it means bringing in the MCU characters that we know into that universe and giving it more contextual background, I'd be more okay with that than the other way around.
That makes sense.
Than Fantastic Four coming into the modernized, more grounded
world. Kind of like their retrofuturism, like
and
version
then,
of their world.
Maybe we get a Ms. Marvel with her actual powers.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Not the light.
Yeah,
light
abilities. The armor. She literally has armor's powers.
Yeah,
and it's like that's
So not even the actress. Like I know she wanted the actual powers, but she didn't really have much say in it. Like,
again, just like her first real like big role.
Yeah, so she's like, yeah, all right.
Okay, yeah, I would too.
So I want to see that embiggened Miss Marvel, where she gets like bigger hands.
And they were like, we can't do it. And then Fantastic works fine in this movie. Like no one was like, that looks dumb. And if they are like that, then like this movie ain't for you, brother. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't like when superheroes do superhero things. I'm like, okay, well, watch something else.
Yeah, at that point, move on.
Just like,
so, if you want the grounded ones, there are those grounded superhero movies for you to watch. Like you can, there's the Christopher Nolan ones. There's the early Marvel movies.
Go back and watch Snyder all you want, man.
Yeah, the Snyder cut, like that.
Not gonna be me.
I think they're gonna try to make fun of that and
Peacemaker
for
season 2. Sure.
I think there was an interview with James Gunn about that.
That would be great.
With John Cena. So that's pretty exciting for me to watch. But I do agree that I think Fantastic Four set a good tone for a comic book vibe that has been missing in the earlier Marvel like cinematic universe. Not that they're bad, like they were great.
Yeah.
Like,
we've watched almost every one. I have a list of my favorite like 40 MCU movies. Like I watch each one. But.
So no, I do agree. I think once Guardians of the Galaxy kind of stepped in and set that little like alien type tone that like things can be a little bit more crazy and comic booky and chaotic, they're starting to realize like that and was able to set that for Fantastic Four. So I hope that what you're saying is to merge it.
I would rather that be the nexus or the focal point of whatever merge comes.
As Marvel prepares for recasting iconic roles, probably resetting the timeline, what creative paths can be preserved, could best preserve character legacy while refreshing the brand?
I think we touched on it a little bit.
Yeah, if you want to expand on it.
Yeah, where I was kind of like, I don't want them to forget the sacrifices that characters have already made. I think that's really important. I don't want them to fully erase what we've already seen, even if there are movies in there that I didn't like. I think they led to some really important events. Like, I think Thor Dark World's a good example because it was pretty poorly received, but I think it really set up the relationship between him and Loki, especially for Ragnarok. That was my favorite part of Dark World, was the brothers.
Yeah.
And so if you erase any of that, you don't get that context and that build-up. And that's one of the best things they did.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the better relationships there.
Yeah.
Because even like in the Loki series, like when you got to see the sort of aftermath of Loki kind of because since that Loki was from the Avengers movie originally, he got to learn his history.
Fully have a redemption.
At least, he got to learn what he could have done. He got to learn what he did in Dark World and Ragnarok. And kind of
see who he could be.
Yeah, led to his redemption and.
So I think reverting those kinds of decisions where like it's a different Loki, but you still honor the decisions of the prior one. It still feels like that character is the same.
Yeah.
What do you think they can do with like T'Challa and kind of that recast?
They really set
keeping
themselves
that
up
legacy
for failure on that one. It's one of my most disappointing, other than still not having a Blade movie. It's one of my most disappointing MCU things that they've done. Because I kind of had, before Wakanda Forever came out, accepted that we weren't going to get T'Challa, but I thought they'd leave it open-ended enough to where they could gauge public opinion or something and maybe come back with like a recasting if they needed to. But they just started out solidifying the death. Like that was the first scene of it.
Yeah, they're like, he's dead.
And it was nice because they did it for Chadwick, and I think he deserved
a tribute.
A tribute and every amount of like praise he gets, like absolutely. But to like put that nail in the coffin for the character was not my favorite thing. So when it comes to that, I don't know what I personally would do. I think you have to have him.
Do you think it would be better, and this is just me kind of just bringing up a hypothetical type of like storyline, is when it kind of merges and resets, like it can forget a little bit of like what the character looked like, but like kept the actions of what T'Challa did.
I think I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
I think people wouldn't. I think people would be like, he looks totally different. And it'd be like, yeah, man,
Yeah,
just
that's the whole point.
what do you want him to do? It was kind of like when the people were mad about like Will Smith taking over Robin Williams' Genie, and it was like, what do you want them to do? Weekend at Bernie's his ass? Like, I don't know what the expectation is. Yeah. They can't go get him.
Do some like dark rituals to bring him back from the dead. Like, that's not gonna happen.
I did like what they did with Iron Man 2 when they recast.
Rhodey? Yeah. Well,
went from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle is one of my favorites. Which, by the way, still unused. I don't know what's going on there.
The Iron.
They were gonna do Armor Wars, and like I would just like a War Machine movie, or one where he takes up the Iron Man mantle, which has been in Secret Wars. He is Iron Man. Like, Iron Man's there, and then he takes off his mask, and it's Rhodey because he's going through like a stint of alcoholism, and him and like Reed have this like deep discussion about how like it was I'm surprised. So like in Secret Wars, Rhodey is like he is Iron Man. So like it's right there for them to do, but I don't. That's what I mean. Like I don't think they care enough about the product to do things like that, or to see the potential for those things. I think they're just looking at money, and money doesn't say put Rhodey in the Iron Man suit.
Yeah, they want just recast Iron Man at this point.
Yeah, they'd rather have Tom Cruise show up in an Iron Man suit and everyone into like the superior Iron Man. And everyone would be like, oh, like that would sell more. I hate that, but that's like I think that is true. Yeah, and I think they would be more willing to do something like that. But yeah, for T'Challa, I think there's a lot of routes you could go. I think that's the simplest and cleanest one you could do. I think if you really still wanted to be creative and stick to what the MCU's already done, it would be kind of cool if their universes merge, and then there's like this like end credit scene where like Shuri goes back and her mom's alive, and she's like, "That's crazy. You're like." I just haven't
one of
seen
those like reveals where she's kind of going down like certain
like
opening
and then
up
she's
doors.
like, oh my god, and they hug or whatever, and she's like, why are you hugging me? 'Cause she doesn't know what's going on, and then someone walks in, and then like Angela Bassett could be like, oh, your brother's here, and she'll be like, what? And she turns around and it's Killmonger. It's Michael B. Jordan, but he's T'Challa in this universe.
Wow,
I think that would be kind of cool.
That would be.
That's me shooting straight from the hip though. It didn't like that.
Yeah.
You still alive?
We're still
Okay. Yeah, basically, so you're basically like describing like the ending of Days of Future Past, basically.
Yeah.
Wolverine goes back in time, and then everyone that would like died is essentially alive again. Like Jean's just like walk past in the hallway, her hair is blown in the wind, and you see Cyclops and like the whole original gang is just back.
Specifically, still not taking away the sacrifices of like a Tony Stark, because like I don't think T'Challa was justifiably killed off. I don't think he got that full story. So bringing back characters that didn't get that full story, I'd be in favor of something like that, where you can still keep like. I think it would be a cool twist if she realizes like you look like Killmonger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I think that would be kind of a cool dynamic. It's like you're not my brother, but he is your brother, or you're at least his sister. Yeah, that kind of dynamic would be kind of fun, especially how confrontational the two can get in the comics. Like I think that would play well to that. But
yeah, I like that idea, especially because like if the third one, I assume it's still gonna be directed by Ryan Coogler.
Yeah,
he's done. Like Michael B. Jordan's been
if
in
he
every
doesn't
single
do
one
it,
of his movies.
We write.
Yeah. He's just too good.
Ryan. Yes, Ryan.
And hopefully Ryan Coogler could just move on to DC afterwards.
Yeah. I did hear he had a meeting with.
With James Gunn. So.
That'd be cool.
For what?
I don't think they said.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, they didn't say. They said like.
It could be literally. Anything.
What are your speculations though?
Someone said Dr. Fate. I saw Dr. Fate online. And I was like, that would be cool.
Dr. Fate's one of my favorite origin stories in DC.
Yeah.
Like comics for sure. I love that.
He could do anything, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything.
Anything that I wouldn't want him to do.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That was a question. Okay, so how do you think audiences will respond to new actors stepping into these deeply established roles?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on who it is. The fan bases have their favorites. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be what we saw with John Krasinski's Fantastic, where people all clamor for it, and then we get it, and they're like, why'd they do it? And it's like, you guys asked for that.
Yeah. Or it'll be something like no one asked for, like the Robert Pattinson Batman.
Yeah,
everyone's like,
and then it was
wait,
like,
this is
that's pretty
amazing.
good.
Like,
yeah, 'cause,
it's perfect.
At the end of the day, people want to be contrarian.
Yeah.
So, like, I think they have to kind of take that out of their decision making. I think they just need to do what they think is best and trust the actual creatives on the project. Not the execs, the creative people.
The actual creatives.
Yeah,
Including
allow
the
them to be
actors and
creative.
people.
Yeah. And I'm kind of fine with whatever, again, as long as they don't take away from the sacrifice that the characters had originally done. I'm kind of ready for a reset, personally.
So
this phase
ready
wasn't my
for
favorite.
new faces, like, and new actors to kind of step in.
Potentially, yeah. For
Yeah.
specific characters, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want a Cap. I don't want an Iron Man. But I would love a T'Challa, like I said before. Can't really think if I wouldn't love like I love the, I don't remember her name, but who does Ms. Marvel.
Oh.
I love her for Kamala, but I do want her to revert to her original power set.
Yeah,
So
I think definitely keep her around, but just
Yeah, there's like a
figure
spectrum.
out how to like get her actual abilities.
Mhm.
That's what I thought they were gonna do with like the Marvels at the end. I thought maybe that she was gonna come
Speaking of
back and like
Spectrum.
what
Spectrum.
Spectrum? Oh, the Spectrum.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's what I did.
yeah, the Spectrum.
But yeah,
Yeah, I heard they were doing that.
we're still waiting.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really hoping that. Yeah, because I think I don't remember the movie 100%, but doesn't she like almost die at some point?
She
And
like
then,
sacrifices herself to close the little like, I guess, rift.
Yeah, well, that was Monica.
Oh, who are you talking about? Oh,
Yeah,
Ms. Marvel.
Kamala.
Okay,
Yeah, I thought like Kamala. Like,
I didn't watch the whole her show because I didn't really love the show that much.
I thought like
I loved her, didn't
so-
really like the show.
yeah, like
That
it.
made sense.
I feel like a lot of the Disney Plus shows, the first half were really good, and then the second half gets very sort of rushed. Like,
Secret
not
War-
all
or,
of them,
yeah,
but like
Secret Wars, dude, was the because I loved the first episode.
yeah,
I was like, oh, where's it going? This is crazy. And then it's terrible. That's one of the worst ones they've done.
yeah. I think that's the one I didn't finish. Was Secret Wars.
I did. I regret it.
Like,
It's terrible. And again, they're not going to do anything with it. I think that
Yeah,
goes back
it's
to
not
the
gonna-
problem that's like a recurring question here is like, I think Marvel just kind of took a scattershot approach with the intent of selling subscriptions. And then they realized, like, if none of these things have payoffs, no one's going to invest the money into the subscription to watch them.
yeah,
Like, we
throw
had
everything.
no payoffs this last this last phase.
That's
for anything.
true.
What was, like, the biggest payoff that we've had since Endgame?
Probably the
like a movie.
formation of the new Avengers, basically.
It's true, yeah. But and that was from, like, a bunch of, like, B-teamers that no one had really, like, seen before, no one really had an attachment to.
Yeah, like I do like.
But that is probably the biggest one, yeah.
Yeah, I do like in universe though. It's like clearly set up as like a bunch of propaganda.
Mhm.
Like they're not like the actual Avengers. Like they're sort of like the media's pushing them
Yeah,
out
yeah.
to sort of sell.
No, I'm
something,
definitely hopeful for it.
Like,
But
yes, I think my favorite aspect is like how like at the ending scene you get to see like all the little like pieces of the new Avengers put into like propaganda pieces. Like you see Florence Pugh's
yeah, and
character
the,
doing
like,
like the muscle
mhm,
and
mhm.
the little flower to the child.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree. I think that's one of the more hopeful things from this phase. But
Yeah,
I don't
like-
even see that as, like, an actual, like...
Yeah, like payoff thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's definitely a lot of things that didn't really go anywhere.
Mhm.
Like Ant-Man 3, like you're like, oh, we're setting up
Yeah.
Kang. It seemed like that's where they were going.
And
Like,
they're like, oh, we're not doing that anymore. For
yeah,
reasons.
yeah, and then like, yeah, for reasons.
For reasons.
Yeah, they just have them
But
get destroyed by ants.
did you
And
hear
again,
it?
instead of
like,
recasting, they just drop a character.
yeah,
Characters are bigger than the people that play them.
They really are. They should have just... I know a lot of people wanted the guy from Fallout because they're saying he kind of favors Jonathan Majors a bit.
Really good, yeah. John David Washington.
Oh, John David Washington.
In anything, dude. Why doesn't he get roles? Why isn't John David Washington in every movie I watch?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. No, I heard that somewhere. I don't know if this is like theory or not, or if this came from an interview, but they actually, I think they said Kevin Feige said that these certain like post-credit scenes are going to be touched on again, but there are some that aren't going to be touched on again. So I'm just like, okay, so you're just going to pick and choose?
Dude, you know? Speaking of Thunderbolts being the, I guess, biggest payoff, that end credit scene?
Oh, yeah.
No payoff.
You had nothing to even tie in.
You can't show that. The next movie is Fantastic Four. You're implying that the answer to what's going on will be in the next movie, and so people go into the movie expecting that, and then you don't give it to them. That's on you. That's on you. Don't give me that expectation, and then you can do whatever you want. But that was a silly expectation to set without a payoff.
Yeah. It definitely hurt those films, and it's kind of annoying too because for both of those end credit scenes in Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts, like they brought in the Russo brothers to direct those specific scenes, but they didn't really connect well. It's just kind of like the end of Thunderbolts, you see the ship coming into space, and like, oh, you see the four, and then in Fantastic Four, the only end credit scene we get is Doctor Doom.
Yeah, it's like, not even him. It's just his back, so you don't have to pay Robert Downey.
Yeah, it's just it's showing off the mask awkwardly.
You could put someone else in a mask and show him in the front. Like I'm not even asking for them to like show me Robert Downey under the mask. I just like put the full. I want to see Doom. Like, don't put the back of him. That's just lazy. That's just stupid.
Yeah, they have the mask facing the camera.
That means nothing to me. I've seen that shit. I've seen you kind of tease him. I've seen the mask in a teaser. Like, I've seen... That gives me nothing. It gives me nothing. Okay, he might kidnap him. It's not even, like, guaranteed that he's going to kidnap Franklin in that.
Yeah, it just shows
that's like the assumption.
It's like, oh.
And clearly we can't make assumptions when it comes to Marvel and end credit scenes. So, like... What that tells me is he is there, which was already implied earlier in the movie when they showed, like, Liberia, the flag, and the empty seat at the Future Foundation conference.
Yeah.
So, like, you continue to tell me nothing new with these end credit scenes, and like...
Yeah, I think if they had, like, flipped the release schedule, like if Fantastic Four came out first, and then you see that Doctor Doom scene, and then the second one,
and then you see Thunderbolts
and
next,
then you see the
I would like that way better.
Yeah, that would have been a way better. Like, oh, what happened in between that to cause them to come to this universe now? Like,
yeah, I think that's a great point. I think the way that they, like... The sequence of events is just like not appropriate for the end credit scenes you're showing. There's not enough answers there.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned before, the Shang-Chi end credit scene where they're talking about like, oh, your bands are like cosmic powered, and they're talking about like cosmic energy, and then we haven't seen anything from that in, what has it been, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, I think about 4 years. I think it was 21.
Nothing. Yep. Not a single thing about that. They brought Wong in. He was like, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Is it going to get tied into the Eternals or something like that? Yeah.
Was Multiverse of Madness after that?
I think so.
So like nothing from that either. That's what I'm like. None of these. You're trying to set up things at these end credit scenes, or you're not setting up anything. And, like, none of these are, like, connecting at all. And that was the big selling point of a cinematic universe, is connecting events. And so we haven't seen anything even remotely close to that in this phase. And I think that's been the biggest... Everyone wants to blame multiverse, and I do think the confusion of the multiverse and the confusion of subscriptions is a big part of it. But at the end of the day, if there was some sort of connectivity, there'd be more incentive.
Yeah.
And there's just not that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When do you think that kind of like that post-end credit scene kind of changed of like not connecting into the...
I think after Endgame, I think everything up until Endgame, like people stayed around because like it was a big deal when Infinity War didn't have an end credit scene because it was like, oh, it's like because it was all snapped, like it's supposed to be like hopeless and whatever. And I do think that worked really well. But like up until that point, people stayed around because they were like, I need some semblance of an answer, some semblance of hope, and people stayed around for those things. I remember Spider-Man Homecoming was really poorly received because it was like the first one that didn't set something up, because it was just Cap being like,
hey,
your
disappointment or something.
Yeah, disappointment exists. Yeah, like, and everyone was like, fuck that shit. So like we've always had this understanding that these setups are supposed to be, Thanos saying, fine, I'll do it myself. Like these really big moments where they're setting up a villain or they're setting up a world event, and I can't think of a single one that did any of that, or that did any of that with follow-up.
The first reveal of Thanos too, now that you mention it, was like
just
half
turns
of his
around.
face.
Yeah, it wasn't even
we
like
actually
what he
see
ended up
like
looking
his
like.
face. Like it wasn't the back like what we got with Doctor Doom. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah, and those things are big. Like, you know, you see the gauntlet in a few of them. Like, they're showing you what is going on in the world around it that's building up to a big event that you know is coming.
Yeah, now they haven't really done that. I can't think of a single
nothing with
one
Kang.
since
Doom,
Endgame.
it was his back of his head.
Yeah,
We don't even know what Doom's doing.
Yeah, we just don't know at all. He's just sort of like, oh, he's playing with Franklin, letting him touch his face,
Touching kids.
Yeah.
We're gonna elect him president next.
Yeah.
Oh man, what factors determining? So what factors will determine whether Marvel's future team-up films recapture the impact of Endgame? Like, what factors do you think will determine?
I think they need to go more character-focused stories.
Okay.
I think that's the big one for me. I think Fantastic Four is like the first, actually in Thunderbolts, were the first two in a minute that felt like not just, oh, bad guy, good guy fight, which I don't hate that, to be clear. But like they're the first ones that really like dove deeper into characters, and kind of had the big fight or the big standoff kind of secondary to the character development. And I know some people had an issue with it, and that's fine. But for me, that's what I want from superhero type media. I think Superman was another one. Was a big thing about like learning his origins and the type of person he wanted to be or he was. And then Lex Luthor was also being a dick in the background. So like that's kind of what superhero stories have always been to me. That's why I've like always been a big fan of like the X-Men series, is because that's how I guess at least Claremont handled things, where he was focused on like developing a character story, and then the big, I guess, fight that they were dealing with reflected the internal like trauma that whatever that main character focus was about. So I think if MCU continues to do things like Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, I think they'll be fine. I just hope that they take the right, I guess, they learn the right things from the successes of those. Or, because Thunderbolts didn't really succeed all that much, but I think that's a good start. Ironheart, another good one. I think
another good
like
character.
the Hood was more background to Riri learning what made her unique and what made her like worthy of respect. So
yeah, because the whole series, she was essentially dealing with this trauma from losing her stepdad and losing her best friend, and that sort of was like throughout the entire series, was that reason why she was building these armors was the same reason why Iron Man was trying to build all those armors in Iron Man 3. Like he was scared of because of what happened. Because of what Loki did to New York, and so she was kind of dealing with that, but like obviously on a smaller
more
scale.
Personalized,
yeah, she was scared. She was like building these. She was sleeping in her suit at one point because she was just so terrified. It's very much how in Iron Man 3 when
it was Iron
Man 3 when he was like laying down and he was scared. And then because he was putting all the stuff in him.
Oh, and he like wakes up with it.
Yeah, he wakes up, and then the Iron Suit like grabs his
Pepper.
and she starts freaking out.
Yeah.
And she's like, you need to. So Ironheart essentially was like the better Iron Man 3.
Yes.
Like, it's what it should have been.
Yeah,
It's what
yeah,
Iron Man 3 should have
100%.
been.
What it should have been.
But yeah,
Okay.
I think those character-focused stories is what I think do better, or are at least received better, whereas they might not sell better. And I think...
Where do you think that fell away?
I think
with,
people
like,
were
the
just having
character-driven-
fatigue.
Yeah, I think the people who weren't already comic book fans kind of fell away because it was kind of originally it was sort of like a lot of FOMO, like fear of missing out, like for a lot of it. And then I think once Endgame ended, everyone's kind of like, okay, this is the conclusion of the story. So the only people that are left that are still watching Marvel are the comic book fans, the people who want to see these things, but the casual audience is sort of like, well, it's done.
I
This
just
shit
wanted to
ended.
see Iron Man.
Yeah, it's like now that the story I was following for 10 years is gone, I don't care anymore. Whereas like the comic fans like, oh, this has been going on since the 60s. It's like it's gonna just always be.
We were
there.
all like, well, there's so many other characters they can do, and then they had none of those characters.
Yeah, and so now they're trying to be like, oh, back to basics.
Yeah, and then
So you think like the character-driven stories kind of stopped after Endgame?
I think so.
Everything after
yeah,
that was kind of like a little bit.
As much as I like Shang-Chi, I think it was one of the better, like, less character-focused ones. It obviously did have, like, the relationship with him and his dad and stuff like that in it. But I think it was a more classical, like, MCU project that did really well. I think it's even in my top 10. Like, I really liked it.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of, like, inspired a lot by, like, those older martial arts films.
Yeah.
Like the 80s and 70s.
And I think they tried to do more of that than, I guess, the character-focused approach we've seen in Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, and they saw the success of that and then just kind of chased that high. Whereas it worked in that because I think the people that worked on it are really talented and really, like, thought about what they were creating. But yeah, I think at its core, like, they kind of took the wrong lesson from that and was just like, oh, they want these, like, spectacular hero stories where it's just like hero bad guy, some callbacks to some other film, and then we call it a day. So
do you think the move of just canceling like Kang's or Kong's or however you want to pronounce his name,
yeah.
like story kind of just like confused everybody a little bit more?
Certainly, yeah. I think
you
people
think
were
they should
waiting
have
for
just
that
like
setup.
finished it off?
Yeah, I don't really understand.
Yeah.
If you got to recast, you got to recast. But
Yeah, because it was the next thing that they were setting up, and then they kind of not well, but then it kind of just stopped, and now these last few ones, it's kind of like they haven't really had anything, and then they got like, oh, we're doing this Doomsday movie, and so they sort of slapped the thing onto Thunderbolts, and then they did the Fantastic Four, so now it's like, okay, so now we're doing Doomsday, but for a while there was, like, after obviously Jonathan Majors got fired, we just didn't know what was going on.
And it was a big point of Loki, which was probably the best Disney Plus show. I think that would be, my take would be it was the best Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
WandaVision's close, but, like, you kind of make that, like, that was the whole point of it, was, like, the big setup through the Disney Plus universe. It was right here. Just dropping that is so...
Yeah, because that's all we had to go off of, and then it was like, then all of a sudden, like, oh, he's fired, and then Comic-Con happened, and then Robert Downey Jr. comes up on stage and takes off the mask. It's like, okay, we're doing this now, and so they pivoted very hard.
I think that might have been a response to No Way Home and being so well received, because it was a good movie, but I think, again, the lesson they took from that was, oh, they like old shit. Let's bring back the people they like, and that does sell. Nostalgia sells.
Yeah,
and I think that is a really big crutch that the MCU is potentially going to use moving forward, and that, I think, is my biggest fear.
Is leaning on that crutch instead of actually making the risks that they used to.
Yeah, I don't think it's a necessary crutch. Like, I think there are things that you've done in the past that you could bring back, like Luke Cage, that people would be like, oh, I remember that show. It was pretty good. Now I get to more Luke Cage. That's awesome. Like Daredevil. They brought Daredevil back. People were excited for that. So, like, there is nostalgic things that you can bring back to tell stories you haven't already told.
Yeah, but you don't have to shove it down our throats.
Yeah.
Tobey
Like,
Maguire.
you remember the old, like, we talked about it a lot when it was revealed. The chairs, when they revealed, like, the old Fox X-Men were coming back, and I was like, fuck that.
Yeah,
I was so mad. Because I was like, I never really, I enjoyed the movies growing up, but, like, that was never, like, my X-Men.
Yeah, I kind of feel like just Bryan Singer in general, like, because I know, like, with those old films, like, I know, like, he would sort of keep people from reading the X-Men comics on set, and then, like, there's the whole, like, black leather outfits, and, like,
the comic thing. But that's crazy.
he, like, because I don't know if it's Hugh Jackman or, I think he wanted to, like, read, like, a Wolverine comic or something, and he was like, no, I don't want to see a single comic on set, and
it's so frustrating.
Yeah, and then obviously the whole very late 90s, early 2000s black leather outfits, because we couldn't have the comic accurate.
They do that all the time.
Yeah.
They do that in the MCU still to this day.
Yeah, it's awful. It took us until almost 20 something years just to get Hugh Jackman in the yellow Wolverine suit.
It's not even the right one.
Yeah, it's not even the right
he
one.
has sleeves.
I mean, he did like rip off at the end.
And I was like, but when they did that, I was like, why couldn't you have just done that? Why do you have it?
Why
was that the necessary progression? That doesn't make sense. Or like, yeah, the unnecessary like lines that they put in every suit.
Yeah,
like it doesn't need that. It can
look
look silly.
I think didn't they do it for like some camera stuff or I don't know, like
oh yeah, maybe
to make it appear
CG
better on
things.
camera, but yeah, it doesn't look as good.
But I mean, Superman kind of debunked that whole thing with like him wearing now like trunks.
Yeah, the trunks are good. I don't know why everyone. It's like they didn't want trunks, and I'm like, then you don't like Superman. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like that is
again, like I said, everyone's Superman is different. It's always a reflection of like what you first were experienced. But
I did like Henry Cavill's suit when he didn't have trunks. It was cool, but
would have been cooler with trunks.
Still,
and would have been cooler
I'd
at a
still
lighter
prefer,
blue.
the obviously,
which they did do at the end of Black Adam. He had like a lighter blue suit.
Oh,
it was like brighter, more vibrant, and I was like, that looks so much better.
Yeah, that was his last.
And then they fired him. But yeah, when they introduced the old X-Men cast coming in, I was like, I don't want that. And everyone was really excited about it, and I felt like an outsider because I was like, that's specifically not what I want. Like I think even before it was announced, I was like, they better not do this.
Yeah, I think it's time at this point to.
Because I don't think they're good interpretations. Again, for me, they'll come for me. It's not. I don't really see the X-Men in them.
Yeah, rewatching the X-Men series, I didn't feel like there was much story.
Watch 97 and tell me that's not better.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Just,
it's a
an
live action
series.
version of that, like
for sure.
And I like Kelsey Grammer. I think is an excellent beast. I'm over it. I'm over it.
Kind of touching on that nostalgic base, how can Marvel balance nostalgic returns with meaningful innovation in its storytelling?
I think one example we already talked about was the Killmonger one.
Oh yeah. Luke Cage. You mentioned that.
Yeah,
with Ironheart team up.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're doing with the new Spider-Man movie that's coming out with Punisher and the Daredevil kind of team up is what I've also heard.
Yeah, I think there are ways to do it. I think there's also like just room for other iterations of characters. Like I think something that gets, instead of maybe leaning on bringing back older versions of them, you do an animated X-Men series based in that old X universe. And you can bring back those characters to voice act instead. Or you could just do like a spin-off movie where it's just about them if you really want to do something. You don't have to connect everything to the MCU. Every MCU project doesn't have to be within the universe. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but like I would love to see them if they want to bring back older stuff. Like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I would love an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
But it doesn't have to tie into the MCU.
It doesn't have to.
Yeah. I think that's what I did like about Fantastic Four. Like it was in its own like Earth. It says Earth 828. It was the first Marvel movie, and I don't know how long they didn't do the search edition of the dun. It was just sort of Marvel Studios new logo. It was like a 60s looking thing.
I think that goes a long way. I think we might have even talked about it afterwards, where we were just talking about how like, or maybe it was just a me opinion, but like every movie until the big Avengers level event should be so specifically focused on the heroes, and they should do it in a way that doesn't overlap with other heroes' things.
Yeah.
I think like Thunderbolts, my biggest negative from that was that they brought it back to New York at the end, and then it didn't really make sense why no one was around.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't
You're like, where's Spider-Man?
Yeah, I don't expect them to be there, but this is a pretty big deal, and they would be there. So, like, there's a level of disbelief that you, like, stretch really thin by, like, not accepting that this Thunderbolts movie can be just in Utah, or just in that desert, or just in San Francisco, or, you know, not being able to expand your universe further than just, like, what's going on in New York, what's happening in the Avengers.
Wasn't there, like, two different Avengers team and two different
West Coast Avengers?
Yeah.
I would love to see that. Honestly, is what I want them to do with Hawkeye and with both Hawkeyes moving forward. Like, I would love to see them do the West Coast Avengers line where, like, Kate Bishop puts together a team of like really young Avengers, and Hawkeye's just kind of like there to be the mentor. I really liked that comic series. It was one of the more like sillier ones, but I thought it was really fun, and I think they could do something like that. But I think superhero movies are stuck on this idea of being more grounded than that, and so they would never do something like that. But I think that would be cool and fun, and not everyone has to like it. Every superhero movie doesn't have to be for everyone. Like some people can be like, oh, I don't like retro futuristic stuff, so I didn't want to see Fantastic Four, and that's fine.
You should just don't see
they
it.
can just not watch it, or you can just watch the more grounded ones. And
you just watch.
Stay away from the more fantastical.
Even though I know you won't.
Yeah,
because you're all liars. It's good.
Yeah, it's one of their better projects in like the last 5 years.
I agree.
Being that we're kind of touching with Ironheart, which is a Disney Plus series. So as Marvel continues to bring or bridge its film with Disney Plus, how might this like cross-platform storytelling affect accessibility for both casual fans and long-time viewers?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the subscription model is a winning one. I think there's always something you're going to miss out on.
It's not a winning one because
people just don't want to. Things are expensive. People don't want to pay for a subscription.
On top of all their other bills they have to pay for.
Yeah, especially one that hasn't been delivering.
Yeah.
Disney Plus hasn't even done a Mandalorian thing in 3 years. 4 years.
Yeah, the last.
It's like their best-selling
Yeah, they keep doing other random Star Wars stuff.
And Andor is great, but they don't market things right. Too. That was with Ironheart as well.
Yeah,
Ironheart
there's barely any
Andor,
marketing for that.
They didn't market for these, even though these were some of their greatest projects, because they didn't see them as selling. But then when people watch them, they're like, "This is really fucking good. Why don't you do more of this stuff?" And it's because they're so focused on that bottom line, and greed corrupts everything. But I think at the end of the day, you're just gonna miss some things, and I think they need to understand the separation between their movies and their shows. I think James Gunn has been doing a good job so far, because Creature Commandos was really good and worth a subscription in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
Same with Peacemaker, but I don't feel like any of those are necessary to see Superman.
Yeah, because the only real tie-in they had was Rick Flag Sr.
He was there for one scene.
Yeah,
and he didn't really
had
say
a couple
anything.
scenes.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah,
walking in.
They had the whole scene at the end. It's like, oh, what do you think about the metahuman thing? And it's kind of about it. And then obviously he's gonna tie in pretty bigly into Peacemaker season 2,
which is the other show. Yeah, so I think it's cool to have little cameos like that. But at the end of the day, the subscription shows should be connected to each other, and the movies should be connected to each other. And then just little cameos that are kind of like, hey, by the way, we have this other thing. You don't need it though.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a better approach.
It gives you some more context if you watch it, but not necessarily a requirement.
Yeah. But instead, you had like you pointed out yesterday, the Thunderbolts had just here's Agent 47. You won't know anything about him unless you pay $15 a month.
Yeah, he was the one. He had a little minute-long expedition thing. He had that sort of he explained his backstory. Oh, I did this thing and then I killed a guy, and we had a little scene like that.
Yeah, they explain the important stuff.
Yeah, but you still won't get the full context unless you have watched the show. And he was a pretty important character.
Not very, and I thought it was another show that I thought was actually pretty good. But
that was kind of my feeling with Loki, where I was just like, oh man, they're leading up to this whole big thing with Kang and that sort of stuff. You have to watch Loki. But then all of a sudden they dropped that and did a hard pivot.
You
I'm
could
just
have done nothing.
I guess you didn't.
Even with Deadpool and Wolverine, where they bring the TVA back, you still don't need to watch Loki for that.
Yeah.
There really is nothing connecting these things. And again, that's what I want from movies and shows.
Well, they did have that one character from Loki.
The lady that was in Lovecraft?
Yeah, she was in Lovecraft. So she was their sort of little small connection.
She was, but you didn't that didn't really give you anything from watching Loki? You weren't rewarded.
Yeah, you're kind of oh, she got promoted. She's the head of the TTA now.
Yeah, and I think that was a more unintentional Marvel success.
Yeah.
From separating those. I think they were trying to connect them. But it was. I think there just isn't. But that goes back to what we were saying earlier, where the problem with Marvel and those things is there's no payoff.
That's true.
So,
where are they going to go now with that? Because there is no payoff.
You have to go back to your end credit scenes and watch them and be like, oh shit,
Yeah, like
we didn't do anything with that, and then do something with it.
Yeah, that's what got people to go watch the next project.
Yeah.
Even the ones that like had probably poorly received reviews, like Thor: The Dark World, probably still did as well because people wanted to know what was going to happen next, what was going to lead into the next thing, and now after Endgame, there hasn't really been much leading into the next thing. It's just kind of setting up things, pivoting away from that, setting up new things now, but doesn't really. It's kind of there. Then like the Russo brothers, and I don't know what they're doing. Like,
I don't know what kind of handcuffs they're under, or if they made the mistake.
Yeah,
or
just like the release schedule is weird, or just
because there's definitely been turmoil at Marvel. Give me Blade. I don't even care if it's bad.
Yeah,
I just want to see Blade.
Yeah, being that there's been a lot of turmoil, it actually goes into my next question pretty amazingly, is how do these delays, like Blade, or cancellations in releases and schedule, like changes and that sort of stuff, shape audiences' expectations and trust in Marvel's like long-term storytelling?
Yeah, I think it's eroded quite a bit, and I think justifiably.
I mean, that's what happened with the DC EU. Like the old one is that they kept setting up these things, no payoffs whatsoever, and then eventually there's like, yeah, let's just bring in James Gunn, and then he just was like, this is not working. We gotta like start over because this is.
And that's why I'm like okay with like a potential full-on reset in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Because of like I think it's relatively been successful for DC, and I don't think Marvel's at the level that DC was after like Justice League and The Flash specifically.
Yeah, those were just
atrocious. But like, I think they're on a downward slide that's going to be a really hard climb back up. I think they made decisions that really handcuff them.
They really did.
In whatever decisions they make further, like going forward. So, I think the public perception is pretty bad, and I think it's, like I said, justifiable. But I think the way to get out of it is make things have payoffs. Like you gotta
go back to letting people like want to continue this storyline, but they're all not really connected as much as they used to be. There's no real like at the end of Iron Man you see Thor's hammer in the desert, or it's like there's no lead into those. It's just sort of like, okay, like
I liked when they introduced characters as side characters in other things and then do a movie with that character following it. I mean, they didn't do this with Black Widow, but when Black Widow shows up in like Iron Man 2, like they should have done her movie right after that.
Yeah.
Because you get a little taste of a character, get a little bit better background, you can throw in some exposition so you don't have to do it in the movie. And I think those kind of steps would go a long way for Marvel, where I guess in Fantastic Four they show a little bit more of Doom, and then we get like just a Doom movie. That's another thing. They need to make more villain-specific movies.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Not like Sony. Specifically not like Sony, but
yeah,
like
actual villain movies.
Like for the Fantastic Four, how cool would it have been if we just saw Shia LaBeouf's story right before she became the like envoy? So like way back when,
or even the origins of Galactus.
There's not really much there, to be honest.
I know there's two different versions of him, and I like the second one where he did it. He went to like his core, and then got in touch with like the energy of just like the universe and stuff. Yeah, and then that's how he became Galactus.
You don't like the curse one?
Curse one's fine.
Oh.
Like I like the more of just like that made it a little bit more human, and that was also like how they brought a little tease of like the Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four.
I kind of disagree. I think there's not really much to do with Galactus. I think he's a big world. He's a big purple world eater. That's about it. Like I think he's always kind of had a very simplistic approach, and he's always been kind of. Well, I would say Galactus is like the bread of a sandwich.
I wouldn't say like make a full movie of it, but definitely touch upon it in like.
I mean, you definitely could.
Yeah. You could, but I don't think it would receive well. So I mean, it could have been more of just like when she got her powers as like the Silver Surfer, is like when she like.
And then you don't have to touch on that in the movie.
Yeah.
And I think one of the big complaints, and I kind of agree with, about Fantastic Four was like that space kind of towards the climax of the movie where she kind of disappears
Oh,
and then
yeah.
makes her big decision.
Yeah, and then she comes back. The next time you see her is when she sort of
turns.
pushes Johnny off and then slams him in.
And that kind of happens relatively fast. But I think if you set it up with a prior movie with her, that hits a little harder, widowy. And I think things like that would be a good step for Marvel.
Understanding why she had such a quick response and then made that decision.
Yeah, and doing a Doom movie before Avengers Doomsday, I think, would be a good decision. I think doing a Red Hulk movie before doing Brave New World would have been a good decision.
I mean, that's where Infinity War did such a great job because it was the Thanos movie before Endgame even happened.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a good step. I think giving a little more
Do you think Avengers Doomsday is that to make Secret Wars even successful?
It could be.
Yeah, it could be.
But
I mean,
I think Secret Wars is kind of doomy, actually. It is pretty heavy on the doom.
So he's gonna be in both.
Yeah, for sure. He's I think he sneaks onto Galactus' ship. I don't know. It's pretty wacky. It was it's from the 70s or 60s or something, which is good. I want that. But there are other characters in it that they're obviously not going to do. Some of them are dead, and I don't think they're going to put Rhodey in the Iron Man suit because fuck that, I guess. Even though it's great, I love it. But I think for Secret Wars you would have to do I don't want to watch a Beyonder movie. I'm not going to be honest. If they do that with Doomsday to just do a Doom movie to set it up, I think that's great. I think they have too much cast right now for that to be the case.
That's true.
I think it's way too top heavy in terms of cast for that to actually happen. But yeah, I want a Latveria movie. I don't know why that would be hard to do, Doom, and they could totally do it.
Or even just a Magneto movie too.
I would.
They set up a Magneto. That'd be actually pretty sick.
Honestly, well, I don't know. This would be kind of a darker take, but they could literally do a World War II Magneto movie.
Oh, dang.
It would be you would have to really take a lot of care with it. But you could. I think that would be kind of cool, where you really see the atrocities he goes through. So when he's introduced as that character, that's you guys make the same choice every time. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm not going to see my people oppressed anymore.
Yeah,
I think that hits way harder because you're it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I would love something like that. Again, I don't think that appeals to enough people to where they would do it because, again, at the end of the day, it's about money.
But I feel like there's some value in it too, even though if you don't get people to watch a Doom movie, and then they have the Avengers Doomsday, then they'll be oh wait, maybe I should have watched that, and then they go back and rewatch it again or something like that. And that's where the streaming services would be.
But they're not.
Really good.
Yeah, but they're not going to count on that. They want the surefire. We're making money. We can market this. We can make toys off this. They want those kind of things. And the people that are making the decisions aren't the people that care about actually making good stories that people will be hold up, let me watch how that was. Those aren't the people that get to make decisions, unfortunately. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's the people that don't actually know shit about anything they're doing.
Don't actually know storytelling.
This Mag People
101.
Yeah. It's when my dad used to be you watching Digimons? And I'm it's just Digimon, Dad. And he's yeah, Digimons. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So, those are the people that are up top. So, until that changes, which, bad news, it's not, I think we'll continue to see them not do those deeper stories.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to do what DC's doing with James Gunn, sort of just
bring on a
allowing him to just be full creative control over that aspect of the DC comic movies, and not being oh, you should do this. He's no, he's kind of allowed to do his own thing. He's bringing in these people, allowing them to pitch these ideas to him, the Clayface movie with Mike. Because
he said every single movie he does is going to be different. He's letting the director do what they want to do.
Yeah, instead of interfering, no, you guys got to do this, or oh, we're not going to allow you to. We got to have this because this is going to sell well, or
it unfortunately takes a wealthy and successful guy to stand up and do that. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's that guy at Marvel. I don't think Feige's going to do that.
Yeah, Feige's definitely, I feel like, more of a sort of yes type guy.
Yeah, he's also like, I think he likes the more grounded stuff too.
Yeah, like,
I don't think he actually likes the like whimsy of the comics.
Yeah, especially with how long it took them to be more whimsy.
I think Ryan Coogler could be that guy if they let him.
Yeah.
I would trust that man with anything.
That's true.
But again, I don't think that's something. I even think Taika Waititi would be a better option. I haven't really liked a lot of his more recent stuff, or whatever his most recent thing was. I don't even remember it.
I think it was the soccer movie.
I didn't love it. But that might just be because I don't like soccer. I just don't like soccer. So maybe that's
I forgot the name of it, but
yeah,
it was all right.
Didn't you do a
I mean, you're talking about
else.
the show, What We Do in the not. I mean, that's another thing that he did, What We Do in the Shadows. But I know what you're talking about. It's the pirate show.
It's the Flag Meets
yeah,
Death.
I guess I didn't hate that.
Flag Meets Death actually.
Yeah,
I
Flag
didn't
Meets
hate that,
Death.
I hate that one either.
I don't know what I'm thinking of then.
Are you thinking of What We Do in the
Probably
Shadows,
just
the
Love and
vampire
Thunder.
mockumentary?
No, I like that. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
You're talking about
Are you just
when he was
going,
Hitler?
Michael. No, I like Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, Jojo
That
Rabbit.
was great.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that was
And
before.
it wasn't the soccer movie where he
Maybe
had
it was something he said. I don't know.
Was it Thor?
Oh, it was because he said something like he didn't like comic
Thor's.
books or something.
Oh, I never heard that quote.
I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to be fake.
I just remember a lot of people were annoyed when he was cuddled up with
Tessa Thompson.
Tessa Thompson and like the girl that
I didn't give
plays
a,
the Star Wars lady. What's her name?
there's a Star Wars.
Well, she also is Jane Foster.
Oh, Natalie Portman.
Yeah, Natalie Portman.
Was
yeah.
he with Natalie Portman?
Well, I think they were just like, weren't they like all cuddled together?
I
Like,
thought that was like Tessa Thompson and like Rita Ora or something.
I think wasn't it Natalie?
This comes first.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi, Tessa Thompson.
I do
It's Rita
think-
Ora. Yeah, it was
Oh,
Rita
was
Ora.
Rita
She's
Ora?
like a musician, I think.
Yeah, I think they're
Yeah.
dating. But
Good for
I
him.
do know that Taika Waititi's not really too invested in the comic book world as James Gunn is. Like, he's not
Yeah,
really much
yeah.
of a nerd.
Yeah.
So I do like his whimsicalness and like that style that he did bring with like Thor Ragnarok. Obviously, he kind of butchered Love and Thunder, but I think that's the reason why is because he got more of like that fatigue.
Well, I think there was also other people wrote the film for Ragnarok.
I'm stupid.
With
I was
him.
literally talking about
Well,
Love and Thunder.
I think Love and Thunder he wrote by himself.
Yeah, I didn't like that. That's the one
Yeah.
I didn't like.
Yeah, Love and Thunder. I think he did it by himself, and I think Ragnarok had like 3 or 4 writers on it, including him. But yeah, he was one of like it was a bunch of them as a team, and I think he was doing it by himself, and I think that's why it was worse.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I guess he said if you don't like Love and Thunder, go read the comics then, like implying like
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna do the comics. If you want that, go read. Which like, it's a decent point, but that's not what I want from my comic book movies.
Yeah, I want to see.
I want there to be some connectivity. I agree there
like
needs to
an
be a different
adaptation.
story. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's why I wouldn't like Taika. Long story short.
Yeah,
Short story long.
yeah, I definitely agree at that point.
So at this point, what does the Avengers name mean to audiences today, and how do you Marvel?
Nothing. It means absolutely nothing right now because they've done nothing with it.
Yeah, keep setting up stuff and then not.
Yeah,
really going
and you
anywhere.
took the entire next phase to set up the new Avengers team without a real payoff. We don't even really know the real Avengers team of Captain America and whoever he has.
Oh yeah.
And I still have a lot of questions about that, like why doesn't Bucky join that one? Or like why is Bucky against that one? Or like I don't understand that dynamic. There's a lot of questions I'd love to have answered that would have been great for an entire phase of Marvel.
Yeah, but so they spent half of it setting up Kang, and then
Didn't do
obviously the
anything.
stuff happened with Jonathan Majors, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
just bring in Robert Downey Jr.
And then you have a
Doom.
successful
Like,
Shang-Chi movie, and then you do nothing with that. Like it was a bunch of like the best successes they had.
yeah, it kind of went nowhere.
Yeah.
No Moon Knight season 2.
No
like,
Moon Knight. It was just crazy.
Yeah. just-
Even Werewolf at Night did well.
oh
Werewolf
yeah,
by
the
Night,
little short
Midnight,
film they
whatever
made.
it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun. That was another one where it was like, oh, this is different. Yeah, it's like a different medium of like storytelling, and that's like what I want from Marvel. I want a bunch of different things.
Yeah, it's nothing with those like cool black and white film.
X-Men '97 is the best TV show I've ever watched in my entire fucking life.
Oh yeah, that show was amazing.
Oh my,
like,
it's
very
incredible.
excited.
And then they fired the writer for that one, which like I don't know if I should be mad or not, but I have so many questions around that.
Yeah, like what's gonna happen with that? Like, because I think the scripts were. I think he
wrote
finished working off season 2, maybe.
I think he did 2 and then part of 3, but then I think they said they're like changing 2.
Yeah, he scrapped a lot of his stuff. So
if he did something wrong, fuck him. But until someone tells me, other than a Disney executive, that he did something wrong, I'm sorry, I'm not going to believe the Disney executive. Like, yeah. I need to hear like it from the team that worked with him, and I've been trying to find info about that, and I've just heard a Disney executive saying the team was uncomfortable. So, like, forgive me for not believing high-up businessmen. Because if there's no reason for that firing, that's one of the most egregious firings Disney's done. Because he did...
Yeah.
He might be a bad guy, but his writing was phenomenal on that show.
Yeah, it was
that story
easily
was
one of the best things Marvel has ever produced.
It made me cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tears are engaging for storytelling, and is something that is definitely well needed.
Yep.
And well received, especially for superhero films. But going into more of just like getting into now the deeper conversation of Marvel versus DCU, since we're kind of working towards our way there. James Gunn is rebooting DC kind of from scratch, starting with Superman. Is DC finally positioned to compete with Marvel after Marvel's years of inconsistency?
Maybe. I mean, I feel like maybe in 5 years you could tell. But like right now, we just really have 2 official projects that have been released for the new DCU. Just literally Creature Commandos and Superman. And then Peacemaker next month, but
I think it's a little like comparing apples and oranges at this point.
Didn't he used to say Suicide Squad was also canon?
Well, parts of it are going to be canon, but there's a lot of it that's not going to be canon.
Okay.
Like Peacemaker and Suicide Squad are kind of in that weird state. Well, at least Peacemaker season 1 is like in a weird state where it's like there are things that are canon, things that are not.
But in 2, they're doing like a
Bloodsport is canon.
Yeah, Bloodsport's canon, but the Justice League is not canon because it's just the Justice Gang right now. Yeah. Batmite isn't canon because Peacemaker mentions Batmite in season 1. Like, that's not canon.
Which is fine with me because Peacemaker is so good, I want it to be canon.
Yeah,
so whatever parts I have to just shut my ears, like...
Yeah, you said, like, large parts of it are canon, just some aspects of it are not going to be canon. So that's why, right now, it's just 2 official, like, just Creature Commandos and Superman. Like, that's all we really have right now for this new DCU.
I mean, still 2 very good projects.
Yeah, 2 amazing projects.
Like, but you feel like you need a little bit more kind of time.
I think they're just in different places. I think to say one's better than the other right now...
Yeah, it's a little too...
I mean, it'd be like saying, like, oh, does this, like, 18-year-old have a better career path, or does this newborn baby? You know? And you're like, I don't know. This one's not even in college yet, and this one's like got teeth.
That's
like,
a pretty good analogy.
Yeah, they're still figuring stuff out. Like, all we know right now is that we're getting Peacemaker next month. Yeah. We're getting the Supergirl movie, and sometime in 26, the Clayface.
I think the closest thing to answer that is just to say, like, I think DC obviously has more paths to choose from.
Yeah.
Meaning their potential is greater in a way. And Marvel has some things that they need to more make up for, and Marvel has a few things that are going well for them too. There are characters that are really well received that they can really lean on.
Yeah.
But
do you think that competition between those studios will improve superhero films overall, or just moving forward?
I think very
so.
Much so.
Yeah,
especially after DC's early successes.
Yeah, especially after like Superman and. People are clearly going, oh, we don't want just like another origin story. Because I think that's what a lot of people are also liking about Fantastic Four, that they didn't just do like a full origin. They kind of like jumped into these established characters. And I think that with DC doing that, I think Marvel is going to also potentially learn from that.
I think Fantastic Four was also really fortunate timing for Marvel because it was one of their more fantastical projects, and it came on the tail end of Superman being a more fantastical project, and then everyone kind of having the discussion right now of like, yeah, comic books are supposed to be dorky. Like, they're supposed to be kind of like vibrant, and they can be silly at times, and they can be dark at other times. And I think there's a balance that both of those struck really well, where like I think because they both struck at the same time, we're going to see a trend, hopefully, of future projects reflecting that same sort of like fun and also depth of story.
So we're kind of talking about like a little bit more of like the tone and that shift in tone. Do you think that's something that the audience kind of like are like craving to?
I don't think
now?
I think most people that just tune in for the movies didn't know they wanted it until they saw it.
Yeah.
Because I think
agree.
everyone else that like reads the comics knows that's what they want because that's what got them to this point of fandom. Like that's been most.
Do you think
experience.
that's why kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy like trilogy was just like?
Honestly, I think that is just one of those like random. It just worked because like it's so not like the comics.
Yeah,
like
it's
I tried to
very
read
different.
the comics after it came out because I was like, this team rocks. Why haven't I heard of them?
They are.
Yeah,
at least the older ones are pretty. I think the ones that came out after the movies. The ones that are very much trying to capture the tone of the movies are a lot better. But the ones like now everybody talks about the 2008 run where Star-Lord's in the blue. And I read like 5 chapters and I just kind of got bored of it.
Yeah, Nova's the best part of it, and they haven't even done Nova.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was. Yeah, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is one of those just weird like this is so far from the comics, but it's better moments. I don't think that's something that should be chased because most of the time it's not going to work out. I think it was a total fluke, a happy circumstance.
Yeah, but it has changed the comics because of that, and even like the video game, like they wouldn't have been the way.
So good. Play the video game, please. Like I need a second one of those so bad. It's so good. It is one of my favorite video games of all time. The Guardians of the Galaxy video game. Play it, please, for the love of God.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. Yeah, it's the only time the MCU-ification.
For the stories, or like just overall, even like the combat and like the mechanics of it.
Oh, it's all good. The story is incredible. The combat is fun. I mean, you basically just play as Star-Lord, and that is something like I want a second game because I want to play with more characters. Like I want to play with the whole team.
Yeah.
Maybe even a co-op.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
But yeah, the story itself is good enough. Like, just watch it on YouTube if you got to. I need more fans on this because I need a second one, and I don't think we're getting one.
I doubt it.
So there are a lot of rumors kind of talking about like superhero fatigue and that sort of stuff with like that type of like comic book type movies. Do you think the healthy competition that you are seeing between DC and like Marvel can reignite a little bit to make it?
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to end at some point, or do you think it's going to transform into like a whole new?
I think some people just don't like superheroes. I think people are finding out that they just liked the cultural impact of the MCU.
Yeah, like
and they don't actually like superheroes, and that's fine. Which is fine. It's fine. But like I think people are starting to learn about themselves.
Yeah,
and they just need to step aside.
They just watch it because everyone else is watching it, and now that they feel like they don't have to watch it anymore, now they're kind of not really engaging with it anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of the audience is more just made up of actual fans of it now instead of like, oh yeah, we're all watching it because like everyone's gonna watch the new Marvel movie.
Yeah, and I think the people that like Marvel inspired them to read the comics and stuff and like really learn more about the stories of the characters they like. Like for me in Guardians, like Star-Lord was never on my radar, and then I saw the movie. And now he's probably like my second or third favorite hero of all time.
Yeah, it's probably the only movie that I'm happy that it had influence over the comics and other medias because I think James Gunn really honestly saved that franchise because before then, it's just the Guardians were just kind of lame. Like
that brought me to read a lot more Guardians comics, and like there's some good ones in there. They're not as good as like other comic series, but they're still good.
Yeah, I like the Sun-Lord story. Like,
Sun-Lord's solid. Yeah,
good.
I actually like some of the like Kitty Pryde Star-Lord romance.
Oh
stuff.
yeah, that one was pretty fun.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, I liked like the Thing like being in space.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's what he wanted. That's his whole thing. Like, I want to be an astronaut. And Agent Venom was there.
So that led to a lot of really cool comics, and that led me to actually read them. Without that movie, I'm not reading those, and they don't exist either.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of good that came out of, casual people getting into the MCU, but I do think there are some people that didn't take that turn and just wanted to watch the movie, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think we should let their decisions dictate the future of the product.
You shouldn't be like, we got to go back to the groundedness. We got to go back to the big popular characters. Because these are the ones that are going to sell. Like,
Joker's really just a drug dealer with a grill.
Yeah.
Damage
on his head.
Yeah, like no one, and people were like, this is dumb. Even the grounded fans thought that was dumb. And it's like, so you guys actually like the thing. It's like when you try and tell your parents to watch an anime, and they're like, but it's animated. And you're like, dude, it's fucking good. Watch that. It's a good story. But yeah, so there's a bit like that.
Do you think there would be a potential, being that James Gunn has worked with Marvel, a Marvel versus DC crossover at some point?
I think that would be cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing it in the comics right now. It's the first time they've done one in like 20 years.
Yeah, I read the first one. I didn't know.
Yeah, there's a Batman Deadpool comic coming out right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what he said.
I think there's definitely room for it. I would love to see a DC versus Marvel fighting game.
Oh,
I think
that'd
there's
be fun.
tons of routes they can go. I know James Gunn is also like big into the video game. Like he wants to get into that realm for DC as well.
Yeah, because I know he wrote is it Lollipop Chainsaw? No, I think not Lollipop Chainsaw. It's the cheerleader with the chainsaw game. Like it's like I think it's called Lollipop Chainsaw. But yeah, he wrote that that game with Capcom.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd love to see him write like more games around DC specifically. But like, I think when it comes to bridging those two mediums, I think both teams win. I think both Marvel and DC can win with like having more things that cross over.
Yeah,
I think they need to be rare, but
yeah, I think that's what I've been liking about James Gunn right now, because he like said that the animated shows, I think he even said games, if I remember right, and movies were all gonna kind of have like they can have like a shared universe.
Yeah.
I think that would be really interesting if like maybe the first time you see Wonder Woman will be through like a game or something like that. Or
that'd be cool.
yeah, maybe a Flash, maybe that's how you set him up in the game, and then that same Flash from the game goes to the movie or something.
Yeah,
that could be interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Any last takes or things that you want to kind of mention or bring up?
Play the Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Agreed.
Give me Blade. I don't care if it's half a movie at this point. I just want it to exist. And I love Marshall Ali, but he's too old. Hire John David Washington.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I really like Mahershala Ali, but
he's great.
But yeah, I think John David Washington, he could play the character longer.
And he's not in enough movies.
Yeah.
That's why
he doesn't have anything yet. Yeah, the other Blade actors that I would recommend would be he's playing Spectre in the Disney Plus show.
Okay. I thought you were just gonna say Wesley Snipes.
Oh, Wesley Snipes, no.
Bring him back. Yeah. That's who I want to do it till he's 60.
Yeah.
Actually, he's probably 60.
But John David Washington?
No, Wesley Snipes.
Oh yeah, he's older
probably
than
like
60.
70 something.
I think he's about 62.
Mm-hmm.
Make Keith David play Spawn. Okay.
That was it.
That's all about Chainsaw.
Oh, I did see that. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen gameplay, but I've seen like.
Yeah, apparently, James Gunn wrote that game. So maybe at some point I'll check it out.
Okay.
But he wrote it with like a lot of like some of the Japanese writers as well. So like they kind of went back and forth. Like,
is it like Sucker Punch? Is that the?
Might be.
Kind of seems
I know,
like
his brother's in it as well. Like, he plays like a severed head that she wears on her hip.
Of course,
and so,
he is.
like, yeah,
He's got to be in everything.
yeah, exactly.
I wish I had a brother like James Gunn.
Yeah,
Put me in every one of your movies, please.
yeah. I need a paycheck, brother.
Yeah.
Pay me What do you think is the overall premise that we've learned, or I guess if Marvel ever watches this, what do you think they would have learned here on this podcast?
Money is the root of all evil, and it corrupts everything it touches.
Yeah, and I guess your audience has changed over the course of the last 17 years of your movies. The more casual people have moved away.
Moved on.
Yeah, and so you're kind of left with people that are the diehard fans, and I think you should, like, and I say you gotta only cater towards them, but maybe discover what your new audience wants, and instead of just trying to like focus on what came before, like, it might work for maybe like a movie or two, maybe with the reboot, maybe the new Iron Man movie will do well, but then then also you get a new Thor, and then you get a new Captain America, and people I think will eventually just run into the same fatigue.
Yeah.
Like, oh, these are, especially if they end up being worse qualities than the originals. Like, if the new Iron Man ends up being far worse than the 2008 one.
I don't think you can beat Robert Downey's. I don't even really love Robert Downey's Iron Man specifically, but I just don't see anyone that replacing him in that capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, he played it so well that it's just kind of, who else are you gonna really bring in like for that? Or the new Thor, like, after. I mean, obviously Chris Hemsworth is still doing it for a little bit longer, but
You could do Beta Ray Bill.
yeah, you could do something like that, or
But yeah, just replacing Thor Odinson specifically, that's a tough ask.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they should just continue bringing in new characters for a time, and maybe more time down the line, maybe then we can bring in. But I mean, at least with Iron Man at this point, it's been about like 6 years since we've had one, so it could work better. But it's still, like you said, Robert
different
Downey
mediums.
Jr.
Like, just do Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and do like events in between the movies and animate it. And just have some like Nolan North voice it or something like that. And then so it can still be in the same universe. It can still be the character that everyone loves. Just more context to that character. And I think
more adventures.
Expanding to different mediums, I think, would be the way to do that if you're gonna do it.
I honestly think they
Captain America during World War II.
Oh yeah.
Animate that.
That'd
It's
be
that
really
Captain
cool.
America.
I honestly think they should bring in people who are passionate about the resources and the sources that are given to them in the comics. Put people who want to write, and adapt it into a live action screenplay, actors who want to fit into those specific roles they want to play, because like the passion you'll see that in the film, and I think that's like my main takeaway is right now you're just like, it's what you're saying, people are just seeing that money kind of just rolling in, so they're just like, oh, okay, well, I don't care about anything else.
They're not trying to make a good movie, they're trying to make a good product.
So
Yeah.
well, great. That basically wraps up today's Samurai Review Live. Huge thanks to my great friends Leray and Michael for joining me on National Friends Day. Appreciate it. Couldn't have asked for better company to dive into Marvel's future. If you've been watching live, thank you for hanging out and sharing your thoughts in the chat, which there wasn't, so it was pretty sad. But if you're catching the replay, drop your take in the comments. We'd love to hear them. Do you think Marvel can bounce back in Phase 6? Potentially. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe so you don't miss out on our next live podcast and upcoming reviews. And always,